Hi, I'm here today with Jim Tarbert. Jim has been a member of the Senior Center for a long time, and he is our current board chairman of the board. Um, so let's get started. What? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I grew up on farms in Wenatchee, Manson, and Okanagan, where I graduated from high school. I have a farming background, basically from farming families and a history of that. Uh, and of course, being from Okanagan County, I wanted to go to the big city, so eventually ended up in Wenatchee, which is the big city for Okanagan County farm boy. And I've been here for about 45 years.
So, so you've lived in the Wenatchee Valley for about 45 years, huh?
Yeah.
Ever leave and come back like some of the kids, or you just been here the whole time?
No, after I graduated from high school, it took me a year and a half working for Okanagan County Engineer's Office to earn enough money to get out of town. And I went to Cheney and went to school for 4 years while I worked a night shift at a Medical Lake Hospital. And then I lived in Pasco for 2 years, taught at the high school. Then I moved back to Wisconsin for graduate work and was hired at the university on a contract for a research project and ended up with a 3-year contract. And that allowed my wife an opportunity to finish her schooling. And we both wanted to come to Wenatchee. And as it turned out, jobs did open up here. And we jumped at the jobs, so we moved here. That would have been 1969. And we made our home here, raised our children here, and stayed. So it's been good to me. So here I am. Yeah.
So what did you get your degrees in?
Get degrees in industrial technology.
Yeah.
Started out teaching high school electronics. Electronics has changed so fast, though, that I didn't keep up. Can't even use my phone hardly now. Have to have my grandchildren show me what to do with my computer, or great-grandkids. Eventually, I quit teaching to run businesses. I had 3 businesses, and they all fit my training and background and were successful businesses, and then retired and got involved with the Senior Center then because I wanted to publish some research that I had done, and I found the writers group and got involved here with that. Discovered the store where I volunteered for quite a while, and discovered some needs there that got me more involved in the Senior Center. So.
You said volunteered past tense. I know that's not true.
Well,
you're
yeah.
still in the book. You're still back there sorting books almost.
No, I haven't been since I've become more involved in the board. And in the last year, I've not been doing that. Sorry about that.
You're all good. Please enjoy your conversation.
I had no idea you were there.
I like to be quiet.
So is there any other volunteer work you do in the community, or are you just focused on the Senior Center?
Well, I've at this point, that's all I'm doing. I've pretty well given up other activities. When I was younger, I was a volunteer with the Boy Scouts, and have at one time Boy Scout master and district chairman in other areas before I moved here, and at the district level here, some. But primarily I was involved in my businesses, teaching, and then eventually running 3 businesses. Kept me busy. I didn't have a lot of downtime. So
Yeah. Well, I know you've mentioned to me before that putting in perspective how long you've been around, that some of the students that you used to teach are now members at the senior center.
Well, as a matter of fact, my first class of high school students turned 80 this year. My last class of students before I quit teaching are all senior citizens now, and I very frequently have lunch here with former students.
Oh.
That's not unusual.
So I guess, well, what year were you born?
Well, I was born in 1938.
Oh, you can do the math then.
Well, you can do the math. The year I was born, 1938, the average lifespan was 59 years and 8 months. Things have changed. Senior centers weren't real popular then because there were no seniors,
Right.
or very few.
Well, I wonder if that's why our original charter was to serve ages 50 and up, because that was considered seniors.
Things have changed.
Then, yeah.
But we're going the other way now. The average lifespan now is 76 years, which means at age 38, you all of a sudden are middle-aged.
Right.
So the perspective is changing.
Right.
Right. And then, of course, senior centers were started primarily back in the 70s as a way to distribute government aid and food for meals for seniors. And in small communities, that's still true. That is the primary, if not their sole function.
Yeah.
But in larger communities like Wenatchee, senior centers have taken on a whole different role.
Right.
And have become really community centers, rather than just senior centers.
Right. So why did you get involved with the board of directors?
I got involved with the board of directors because I kept complaining to our current director at the time, Dave, about this store taking over our whole facility and having to exclude activities. And it came down to a point of, okay, Jim, what are you going to do about it? And I have the background to do something about it. We talked about moving the store out of the building to a new facility. I can remember the day 3 years ago that we walked out to the back parking lot and looked for a place to build a building to move the store to, so that we could free up all the rooms in this building for activities. That's when we started negotiating with the city. And over the next 9 months or so, we worked with the city and an architect and came up with a plan for an addition to the back of our building, which would meet building codes and current zoning, which our original idea didn't meet zoning requirements. And so I was brought onto the board 3 years ago to spearhead an expansion project.
And couldn't get enough, so you decided to run for chairman.
I didn't have any intention of running for chairman. I ended up being chairman by default because no one else was willing to accept the responsibility.
Well, we all voted you in, so.
It was a unanimous vote. And of course, I'm still working on the expansion project, and that would keep me in a position to keep pushing for that.
Mhm.
And so I agreed to do it. Plus, having grown up on a farm, listening to a father constantly say, if it needs doing, do it, I decided to do it.
Yeah.
So,
So is that the key accomplishment you're hoping to make during your term, or is there or are there other
is
things?
to eventually get, yes. I two things. One, get the expansion completed and this building upgraded to modernize it. But also to make this organization more inclusive, both multi-generational and multicultural. And we are moving in that direction already. But I think there is, we could do much more in that regard. And I expect to move in that direction in the next 2 years. And I've already taken steps to help implement that process.
So as part of that process, we have been kicking around the idea of changing our name
Yes.
now to the point where we're actually going to run a contest. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about about why we decided on a name change and what the contest is about.
2 reasons. One has to do with funding. We've discovered that by looking at grants that were funded at state and federal level, that seniors just simply are not getting grants. They're going to community centers. Secondly, I've looked at all of our activities here. I meet with people all the time, and it occurs to me that we are really more of a a community center than we are a senior center already.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we have a lot of people in the community who would take advantages of programs that we have here and activities if we did not have the senior there. For some people, that's an exclusionary word, and they don't want to be associated with it, but they would love to be involved in the activities we have going on.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, me being one of the young seniors, I'm 55,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, people my age, we don't think of ourselves as seniors yet.
Exactly.
We're in senior denial,
Yeah.
and even people, and a lot of people in their 60s,
Mm-hmm.
you ask them, well, you should join the senior center, and they say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I don't want to hang out with those old people. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but you are one of those people, because most of the people there are in their 60s and 70s, and they're active, and that's why they're there. Yeah, and I think that's a lot of the, it's an unfortunate stigma when you use the S word.
Mm-hmm.
And by kind of repositioning ourselves as being multi-generational, it doesn't mean that we're not still serving the 50 and over community, but it just kind of changes people's perspective on it.
We need to keep in mind that we are a regional organization, not just a Wenatchee organization. So we need a name that implies a large area, and we need a name that implies community-wide or area-wide, not just seniors.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to limit ourselves, our potential. And I think eliminating the senior from the title will make a big difference in the future of this organization over the next 10 years.
So tell me about this contest, the naming contest. Where did the idea come from to do the naming contest, and what are the rules and the dates and so on?
Okay, the idea initially, well, it's been kicked around to change the name for some time, but I finally proposed it to the board in our May meeting, I believe it was. and was a little hesitant because I didn't know what kind of reception I would get. But as I started reading my proposal, I looked up and I noticed that everyone, and I mean everyone, was shaking their head yes. And I realized they're ready for this. So then it was a question of not should we do this, but what should we name it? And immediately people were throwing names at me, and we had to say, whoa, stop. We have to have a process. And the process has been proposed by our director. And as I understand the process, we will have a contest starting on the 15th of this month that will go through the 31st, and that people will have an opportunity then to suggest names. There will be a prize for the first person to select the name that is eventually adopted. And if I believe that prize is 2 lifetime memberships, and plus there'll be a second prize or maybe a third prize. The process beyond that, I believe that a expansion group committee will meet and go through all of the suggestions and kind of pick out the ones that fit our requirements, which I'm thinking in terms of needs to be a regional name, needs to be inclusive. I would hope 3 words to make it easy to remember, but that'll be up to the committee. The committee will, I hope, come up with maybe 5 or 6 names that meet those requirements, plus are probably names that a whole lot of people have suggested. And they will present those names to the board. And the board then will make the final decision. And that will probably happen at the September meeting. That's my thinking or plan at the moment.
I can fill in a couple of other details. So on the contest period will be from August 15th through August 31st. We have a page on our website already that's got some information on the contest. Yeah. However, if you're listening to this before August 15th, the contest is not open yet. So don't try to submit your name because there's nowhere to submit it. Yeah. There will be an entry form on that page where you'll be able to place your entry. You'll be allowed to enter once per day. You can also enter by submitting in person at our front desk here at the Senior Center at 1312 Maple Street. Yeah. One of the questions that we're hearing frequently is, well, what if more than one person comes up with the same name? Because that's very likely to happen. And so the first person, we're going to time and date stamp every entry. Whoever got it first is the person who's going to be credited with coming up with the name. Yeah. And we realize a lot of people have got similar ideas out there, but so it's in your best interest to act quickly. But you are allowed to submit more than one. It's just once per day, just so that we don't get like 100 names from somebody all at once, because we don't want people just running stuff through Chat GPT. We want people to give us some thoughtful responses. Yes, like Jim said, we're planning to the committee will pare it down to 5 or 6 finalists, and then the board as a group will decide on what the final name is. Yeah. The one thing I wanted to point out about the lifetime, so what we're planning right now is the winner will receive 2 lifetime memberships to the center, whatever will be called at that point. Right now, our lifetime memberships are only available to people who are 65 and over. For this contest, a lifetime membership is a lifetime membership. So if you're 18 years old and you win a lifetime membership, you'll be able to use that for the rest of your life.
Oh,
We decided on that, to be fair.
oh, really? Oh, I was thinking you had to be 95.
Yeah. Well, we may have to revisit the lifetime membership thing once we change, because that was really targeted at seniors before, and
Sure.
things are going to change. So, so I think those are the main points right now. If there are any additions to the contest rules, we will have them on our website.
Mm-hmm.
That people can take a look at. There's a link on the homepage of the website on a banner right now, going across the top that is announcing the contest, and that's a link to the contest page, so you can't miss it. So that's what we have planned for the name change, and maybe just touch quickly on what our goal is with our center. Once we do our expansion and renovation project, what that's going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Could you kind of touch on that?
On the
expansion and renovation.
Well, once we get the addition built, we can move the store out of this building. It's going to free up 6 more rooms immediately, but then those rooms need updating, and we'll be able to start that process then. And so there'll be a lot more work to do, but that will be a separate thing. And we will be able to use immediately rooms that probably aren't in really good condition, but we'll at least be able to move some of the activities back into them and get started. And then renovate each of the rooms as we get the money to do it. And that'll be a whole separate project.
I'd like to point out too that our thrift shop, originally there's a small room. For those of you that have been in our thrift shop, the area where the registers are, that room was the original thrift shop, and it was really more of a gift shop when they opened it. Over the years, from necessity, because it's our primary source of income to run our facility, the thrift shop has continued to expand, and we actually had to take out walls to create more room for the thrift shop, and at the same time that took away rooms from our activities. So over the years, it's gotten to the point where we have lost all but 3 of our rooms to the thrift shop, and so it's kind of it's a necessity for us, because it literally generates 2/3 of the revenue that we need to operate our facility. But at the same time, it's now taking up so much space that the seniors need more room, and at the same time, our city is growing. There are more and more people that could use our facility, and we're just out of space. So that's kind of the...
it's a catch-22. Yeah. We could create more space by moving the store out of some of the rooms, but if we do that, we can't pay the light bill.
Right.
And we'd have to close the place down.
Anything else you'd like to add that I didn't touch on?
Not that I think of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, I want to thank you for sitting down with me today to talk about your background and this naming contest and our plans for the senior center. And my name is Russ Allman. I'm the communications director here at the currently Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, but in a couple of months, that won't be what it's called anymore. Thank you for the interview today.
Okay.